Welcome back, everyone. It's now the finals of Group D of the Overwatch qualifier for the Overwatch
C,
Legend
not D.
Series. Group C, sorry. It's been quite exciting. We've had some really good performances out of all the teams. Unfortunately for the Win Esports has been defeated quite easily by MixyMix, but some of the players and the whole team really showed some great moments and the potential to compete against some of the bigger teams. Now
Yeah.
we're going to have a rematch of Singularity against MixyMix, and in the previous games, whilst MixyMix were able to put up a bit of a fight, it was still a 2-0 to Singularity. And as I was asking Nero before the break, what do you think that they need to do for those that are joining us now?
As I mentioned, I also have like a co-spectator right next to me, a friend's over at my place, and he's been watching the match, and he's like, "Wow, Leaf has got this doofus down to the point, really." And since it is one of the brightest, if not the brightest points of the lineup, they really have to make it work. But Singularity have been really good at neutralizing this doofus, so I'm really lost at this point. MixyMix going back to the regular lineups since they've trained that doofus so hard is not going to be an option. And since Singularity already had easily beaten the doofus, they're really in a bad situation. But we'll see. Maybe this time the maps are going to be different. Maybe this time Leaf is going to more easily be able to find some good positions for himself. But really, once again, the highlight from the Hollywood, Gravity Surge into Meteor Strike is a huge combo. If they can get it down, that will be a successful team fight. Maybe they can get some points on attack and just like that, corner Singularity somehow.
Definitely. I don't think anyone MixyMix hasn't been performing well and letting the team down. Leaf has definitely been performing so great on the Doomfist. I think one of the reasons they were losing, or at least the first few matches, was because they weren't focusing on Mandy's Soldier 76 that was just putting out so much damage. But even when they were able to shut down and take control of the point, they weren't able to coordinate enough and take control of the map, and Singularity were just able to get back in and kill a few members of MixyMix and then take over again. That's one of the harder things to kind of fight against, because it's not one answer. They're just being outplayed at the fundamental level in the way that the teams are and the players are coordinating.
Now, looking at the drafts, there was Hollywood, Dorado, Nepal, and Lijiang Tower, and Route 66 left in there. And if I were MixyMix, I would have gone for the gamble. They've not gone for it, already banning out Route 66. But since they got beaten with taking 0 points on 2 control maps last time, Nepal and Lijiang Tower, I would actually go for a risky ban of Nepal, most likely, because they're better on Lijiang Tower. So I would leave the better control map out there and try to go for some payloads. But we're once again going to have Nepal, Lijiang, and Dorado in the pool. It's exactly the same draft that we had last time.
Interesting. It is. And I think that might show us that MixyMix feel that it was just the execution of the previous map. Actually, well, no, we need to get into the maps to see whether they pick the same team comp or whether that they go for a different team comp and try it. But I have a feeling they're going to stick with their team comp. I think they believe in it, and they think that probably it was just the way the maps played out, which I actually agree with them a little bit on this, because they were doing they put up a strong fight and they were able to take control of the point multiple times. They just weren't able to hold on to it. So this will be the interesting moment to see whether they can pull it off or whether Singularity are just that much better than them.
Yeah. And well, just Craigie, he was so successfully shut down multiple times already by Leaf and his Doomfist. If he's going to stick to that Tracer, there's a big chance that once again he's going to take a lot of blows, and that could be an opening out there. But then Mandy has been invincible on the Soldier 76, so they have to find an opportunity to neutralize the Soldier, rather. And also another one that I cannot just skip is that we so rarely give the credit over to supports. Caseking, he's been more of a DPS support, I'd like to say, out there. The amount of eliminations that he's got with Lucio last time was outstanding. And once again, I expect him to do the same.
Yeah, no, his performance really was great, and he was putting out a lot of damage as well as kind of healing and making sure. This is interesting, though. If we're looking over at Team Singularity, they're picking up the Doomfist. Now, I'm not sure if they'll stay on it, but if that is going to be the case, they have Craigie on his Tracer and Mande on the Soldier 76, which I agree with because they're extremely powerful on that. I don't know. Maybe Kellex is gonna swap over to Genji, and Danny, most interestingly, is on that Doomfist. So we'll have to wait and see. On the other side, MixyMix are sticking to that more traditional team comp.
Yep, and if we're talking about Danny, usually playing Diva previously, now switching over to Doomfist would be a possibility. But no, he's back to the Diva, and for Calyx, I was supposed to say that I don't see him really playing that Genji. If you take a look at his competitive stats, he's only got Lucio gameplay out there, like 14 hours of Lucio, and anything else is below 1 hour, or something along these lines.
Yeah, I didn't expect it, and I think Lucio is just so key, but Valif getting some really good damage out against Team Singularity, and they're on the point, which is unlocking in about 10 seconds. So they're just skirmishing, a bit of damage being put on Mende, but Mende again now being ignored and putting out that damage is able to, crucially, 3 kills now for Team Singularity, 4 kills. And there we go. Now the objective is open. They've taken control, and this is the problem that was happening in the previous games. Is MixyMix kind of went out there. They would skirmish up against Team Singularity, and it just wouldn't really work out for them. And that's a big issue because they have a strong team comp. They definitely should be able to match up, but it seems like their target prioritization just isn't there. Now we're watching Leaf, and let's see what he can do with this.
A missed pulse bomb stuck on towards the Reinhardt's shield right there, doesn't do much, and Neza is trying to jump in, pounding down the hammer, but he's gone, and Lind, he's taking the elimination on that. Actually, they want to catch up on towards Craigie, and they will be able to do that, but Manze once again just erasing them one after another on his Soldier 76. And another thing I wanted to touch on is Lind, the only Zenyatta all day long, and he's also been pretty successful, and you can clearly see how important that Discord Orb is when you're facing off against Reinhardt, against the Doomfist. You can chunk them both down so much more quickly when you've got that Zenyatta on your team.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a crucial part of this, and I think it's been very smart. It is interesting, like, once again, look at here we have Nerfed, who's just on the point, making sure that no one's able to really get onto it. We're about 70%, so... and there's 4 down once again on the side of MixyMix, and this is just a very worrying trend. Mande is sitting at the very far back, and this is where, you know what, maybe it is time to just drop the Doomfist, swap over to a Soldier 76 themselves, or something that can just put that DPS out from a distance, open up the point, take out those key targets, which are really Mande and Craigie, potentially even nerfed on Singularity, and open up that point. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a Reaper. I think that could work.
Some heals are starting to go down right here, but the Earth Shatter didn't really hit too much. The Nano boosted Reinhardt once again just trying to sweep his hammer, but only getting the mecha down really out there on Danny. Most of the kills are going through for Leaf again, and when that Doomfist gets rampant, he is capable of bringing some people down, but isn't his capacity really not limited by the fact that Singularity can deal with him so easily?
Sorry about that. Yeah, so this will be very interesting. So once again, they managed to put up a fight, they take over the point, and this is where MixyMix have done this again and again, but they need to hold on to it. And now it will be interesting to see how things go, because Eagles has his ultimate, and look at that, 2 people down already, and that is the problem. Craigie just is coming up huge with those couple of kills, and there we go, this is over. 4 down.
Or actually...
Craigie's chasing the Leaf over, and that's it. It's done. And this is the biggest issue. What happens with MixyMix is they get control of the point, they seem to be doing okay, and then suddenly 2 people are just caught out of position, or rather Team Singularity is able to position themselves in such a way that they can take out those vulnerable members and just completely open up the MixyMix team comp and pick them off.
If the Leaf could just stay alive and hold on to the overtime for a little bit longer, maybe the healers would have come back in time. But yeah, taking out both the healers with a pulse bomb is an amazing play from Craigie. And you could already say that it was over when that happened, because just before the assaults come from Singularity, they actually tagged down Leaf heavily, and that Doomfist was sitting on low HP for a long time. So even with a Lucio and an Ana on their lineup, they could not actually heal up the Doomfist efficiently. So you know what would happen when the healers actually had calmed down. Now we're gonna have a big max team fight right here. Craigie on the Bastion. He's still standing up there, and from behind, Believe is actually delivering all that damage with the Tracer, but he's not able to do anything. He dies. Craigie.
That's a team wipe, and Craigie coming up huge. Now, in theory, Doomfist should be able to destroy that. He's so mobile. He should be able to get up huge, jump up high, land, and disrupt the the what's it called, Bastion, but just wasn't able to there, and I don't know. That was shocking actually at the moment. And here we go once again. They're just walking out there, and Craigie putting out so much damage. It's insane. And this is just a repeat of where MixyMix are not focusing the appropriate targets. Mande isn't before on Soldier 76 wasn't being focused, and now Craigie isn't being focused. His ultimate is up, and he's just taking people out. No. And there we go. Here comes the cannon.
He goes, yeah, in the configuration tank, and actually he's going to be able to survive a huge assault from the Doomfist again. Believe taking down the mecha from the other side, and also the main tank nerfed. There is the Graviton Surge also from the Reds team. It is MixyMix continuing their assault, but Craigie finally dies with Nessa jumping on towards him with Reinhardt, but it's taken way too long, and all the rest have already respawned, and the point will soon be taken over probably by the blue team. Wait a second, there's another boosted Reinhardt. He can still do a lot, and he's pounding down. Calyx jumping around on his Lucio, but he's not able to really bring that Reinhardt down or limit him at all. Nerf finally with the Primal Rage. The point is taken over once again. Craigie switching, no, he's not swapping that Bastion still. And I can tell you that here, especially on Village, it is the only point ever on the Power or ever on Control that I've actually seen a competitive Bastion. But it's been used, it's been working, and since, as I said, with that Doomfist coming back, we're slightly reversing to the old meta. Sure, why not the Bastion? But also, the red team's not stubborn enough to just stick with their regular lineup. They're going for the Diva 2 to try and soak it up with Defense Matrix, and I'm glad to see that. But the nano boosted Bastion, that's a little bit too much. He gets a triple kill off the team fight.
Look at that trash talking there coming from the Craigie. Yeah, right now what MixyMix need to do is they need to come up with some more creative and coordinated flanks. I think they know who they need to focus on. It's very clearly Craigie. He's just turreting up and putting out such a huge amount of damage. I'm not so sure that just jumping like that. Oh no, are we gonna see another Penta? There's 4 kills, 5 kills. Pentakill coming out. Pentakill for Craigie, and a team wipe for Team Singularity taking out MixyMix.
Yeah, so a nano boosted Bastion into a Graviton Surge, into then a configuration tank. They got wiped over, and this is just too big. 2-0 already on the Nepal, and as I said, why not ban out the Nepal? You're a little bit better on Lijiang Tower, so you've got a chance out there. Try to go for the payload maps to maybe surprise a little bit. If it doesn't work out, then at the end of the day, you still did not have a better shot after all. They already got destroyed, so why just not go for some experiments in here?
I don't know. We'll have to see. It's interesting. Well, regardless, they're putting up a good fight, so it is. There are moments of greatness, and I don't want to count them out. I don't believe that this is over. It's 2-0, but they could definitely win the next one, and we could be seeing something a lot more. But look at that mobility coming out of Leaf. Mandate's just there, getting ready, back on the Soldier 76, and positioning himself very well, as we can see, just on the right-hand side. But it's looking like they're trying to get a little flank there coming out of Leaf. On the side, Belief and Craigie fighting back and forth.
The Sanctum, which could be the point where actually MixyMix will be buried by Team Singularity. For now, no kills just yet. Going double leave. Oh, when he just starts receiving the damage, he's chunked down in a matter of half a second. And now Nerfed already decides to actually manages to run away, manages to jump away at the very last moment before he got killed by the last hammer sweep from the Reinhardt. Hey, Eagles is the one to suicide. somehow Mandy and Craigie starting to get more and more kills, and yep, that's gonna be over. Leaf, as soon as he respawned, he died again off the hands of the very same person, adding this insult to injury. And once again, points ticking, 20% already there. They are trying to limit them at the respawn, but not so aggressively. It's only Nerfed waiting around the corner. It's going to be Craigie jumping in. The stuck is there, but on towards a little bit of a tankier target, so they're going to survive a little bit longer. The pulse bomb, though, still delaying them as much as possible. Nerf getting the kill on Neza. Oh, just look at their health bars. Leaf's gone. Pixie pretty low. Astiko's going to get finished off. Eagle's almost losing his... yeah, now he loses his mecha and will get finished off most likely. Or will finish off himself, because there's just no time to waste.
This is some excellent aggression we're seeing out of Team Singularity, though. They're not giving MixyMix any room to breathe, and I think that's so important. When you have the advantage, you really need to push it, and you need to make sure that the other team just isn't able to do anything apart from trying to survive. And they're making sure that, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're making sure that MixyMix is stuck in their spawn area and isn't able to push out. Look at Manda just standing there putting out so much damage that Leaf is already below half health, but Astiko's quickly to put him higher up. Let's see what they can do here. Is he able to catch Craig? Whenever we've seen Leaf fight up against Craig, he's deleted him, but Nerfed is just coming up huge. The ultimate there. Is he knocking people out of position? What is going to happen? It's just chaos at the moment, but it's chaos that is benefiting Team Singularity since they have the point, and Manda just sitting back. Look at him. No one is focusing him. No one is able to get any shots on him. Finally, MixyMix seemed to be pushing forward with Neza, but he just gets destroyed. We're on overtime. But I don't
wasn't such a
expect that
bad
to last
self-destruct
long.
out there. Danny once again has his mecha back up. He gets sleep darted though and loses it right after. Finally, actually getting a little bit of effort down there from the red team, but Leaf getting eliminated by Lin. That's going to be unlucky. Eagles does not get knocked out of the map, and the Graviton Surge though actually helps them kill him as he stands right in front of their faces. A good Shatter would have said, if not the escaping enemies right in front of his face. Craigie once again jumping around, being the big nuisance as his Tracer as always, although I think it's been even worse when he switched over to Bastion. Nerf to delivering the damage on every single person that has Discord Orb on them, and that's once again the importance of Lin's Zenyatta brought to the surface. 3-0 once again on Nepal, and this time I think even less of a chance for MixyMix to actually have done something.
Yeah, I mean, I expected... you know, last time when Group B played, we definitely saw... Oh, look at this. Oh,
the damage
beautiful
from
play.
Winston is just so huge. Craigie just before with the nano boost on his Bastion was just big, but Nerfed was even bigger right here. And that's what I'm talking about. With a little boost for Reinhardt, when you've got the nano boosted Reinhardt and him sweeping his hammer, it's big. And that's why it's been the best comp for quite a bit of time. But Winston
49 eliminations on Manda. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I had to cut you off. I thought you were finished there. That's having a bit of lag. 49 eliminations on Manda, just huge. Like, it's huge. I don't know what they do, because last week we saw, as I was saying on Group B, we saw Vivi's match up against Team Netherlands, and Team Netherlands performed better the second time they matched up against Vivi's, and we had much closer games. It was really exciting. I thought MixyMix would end up performing better, and that Singularity maybe would have cooled down, but it seems that Singularity have gotten better with that break, understood how MixyMix are playing, and are now not even giving them the opportunity to take the point at all.
Yep, and we'll be switching over to Dorado, actually. So, indeed, they're not trying to be stuck in the control maps. They're not going for Lijiang Tower stubbornly anymore. And they're going to switch over to Dorado, a little bit of a payload action. But it's tough to really say that they're going to be better there. I don't know if we can actually even believe in that, but I'm going to believe until the very end. I really loved Leaf's Doomfist, and I don't want it to go down so easily.
No, not at all. I've really been... I've enjoyed watching MixyMix play so much, and I think they've done so well that I really hope that they'll be able to pull it together here, and we'll be able to go to a Game 3. I think that'll be really exciting, and we'll have to see what happens. And we'll have to see whether they mix things up. Obviously, now the two teams are just taking a few kind of champions. I'm not sure if it's too serious or not, but, you know... Yeah, I'd love to see the French do a little bit better. We had a couple of French fans in the chat, I definitely saw. So, allons les Français. Ce serait bien s'ils arrivaient à au moins gagner un jeu. But so far, not so good.
Yeah, unfortunately, not so good. Just as my French, as I could not understand a single word out there. But yeah, it's MixyMix, if I'm not mistaken, a mix of 5 French and 1 Belgian. And yeah, for sure, these guys are for now losing it out against the Danes. And we had quite a bit of strong Nordic players in here this far. We're also going to have quite a bit of Swedes tomorrow. We had some fully finished lineups in the form of Helsinki Reds and Ense being the winners of Group A. So, yeah, that's what it looks like. Vivi's Adventure, I think they're also Nordic, if I'm not mistaken, the winners of Group B.
Yeah, I seem to remember that as well, but I'm not 100% sure, unfortunately.
I'll just look it up in a little moment, but for now we'll be kicking off with Dorado in just 5 seconds. Once again, Leaf on towards that Doomfist of his, so that doesn't change. Yes, Vivi's Adventure is fully Swedish lineup.
I've enjoyed that. I think that like CSGO we saw and Overwatch, they're definitely going to teams that are made up of the same countries or very similar countries, so there's no language barrier, there's no cultural difference, and a lot of teams are saying that they see it as improving their coordination and team play and allowing them to succeed better. So that's very interesting to see.
Well then, payload's being pushed quite far, but that's the usual thing right here on the router. This is where the first big fight will actually happen, and we're not seeing any Junkrats, which also is, since I've not seen the router for so long, which is a little bit of a difference from last time. I spectated this very map, Neza, this time switching over to Winston, and actually goes down. After that huge jump, I would have been really surprised if he survived that. And wow, indeed, the first team fights victorious for the defenders.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're looking at Team Singularity. They've mixed it up slightly. Craigie is now on Soldier 76 as opposed to Tracer. Mande has dropped the Soldier 76 and picked up the McCree. Lind has dropped the Zenyatta for Anna, interestingly. And Danny has swapped from his Diva to Zarya. So it's an interesting little mix-up of what they believe is working here. On the other side, though, they're definitely sticking with the tried and tested team comp. Estico doing well. We're looking at, I wonder if Mandy's actually going to get anything, but no, Leaf coming up big here with 2 crucial kills, 3 crucial kills, 4 kills now, and this is quite big. MixyMix are definitely showing up to Daku.
Well, so they're pushing further and further. They will or should be able to get the first points now for sure, as nobody's really pushing further. And Leaf's trying to even zone them out, once again trying to play out the Tracer role on his team, trying to get some flank going, but I think that someone might have seen that Harmony Orb going through. Yes, indeed. Already a pre-fire strike from the Reinhardt. Sent that way.
Leaf is sitting in the outskirts just waiting for the perfect opportunity, and I'm liking this patience. Craigie pops his visor, but I'm not sure it's a really good time. It's being blocked a lot by the defense matrix. He's now jumping down to see what he can get done, but nothing. So that was a bit of a wasted ultimate, and he actually gets taken out. Leaf crucially gets that Lind. So now the healing on Team Singularity has been taken out. They're now able to jump on Nerfed and Kellex, so there is no healing on Team Singularity. So that is a great win for MixyMix, which is going to let them push it much further.
Well, much further. That surely is some good wording out there with 3 minutes 30 seconds left in the time bank. That's a pretty solid performance on the router this far. Usually on the router it would be so hard to get through the first points, and if a team wasn't on the dog, they wouldn't even get the first one, really. So this is a big achievement this far, but now there comes the Graviton Surge. Not very effective. They're throwing down the Graviton Surge just to lose their own base, but what a self-destruct to get a double kill too. And now Mante with the Discord Orb will have to be finished off by somebody else on the outskirts of this fight, and Believe getting a double himself. So 3 doubles combined in this team fight. Of course, it combines into a team kill in favor of MixyMix. So a great fight again. And 4 minutes 20 seconds to just take this last point. But this is the trickiest one, especially since we're seeing, okay, never mind, Mande switched over to the Tracer, so we're not seeing McCree anymore, but there's still Soldier. You can take the high grounds. Usually it was just so hard to break through that. MountainDew getting soaked up by the defense matrix. Also Azteco focusing on bringing him down, and Azteco himself not playing the Ana, and it's the second Zenyatta today that we're gonna get to see. Transcendence in a pretty crucial moment, but doesn't really let them push through so much further because everybody's still in the vicinity. And there is Leaf's ult used up, the Meteor Strike though not reaching anybody, which is quite surprising to me, and Nerfed and Mande starting to lay down the damage. So finally the defense is working out for Team Singularity, and it's actually the second team fight that they've won this far on Dorado. The first one being the first that ever happened.
I mean, this was what I was really hoping for, that MixyMix would be able to come together and give us an exciting game too, and so far they've done it. You know, they managed to push the payload fairly far up. Unfortunately, they got taken out a little bit there, and so we've got a little bit of a setback, but they're pulling back. Their ultimates are fairly low, so we're not really going to see anything for a little while, so they should be pushing up, and then I'm hoping to see it.
Okay, so for now, everybody's just grouping up on top of the passage. Once again, the tactical visor is launched, and there's no Diva in his face now, finally flying in. It's going to be a defense matrix, quite a clutch, but maybe a little bit late. Leaf saved up by the sound barrier at the very last moment. Then once again, the Transcendence flies in, but from the other side, it's Lind, not on the Ana anymore. Another sound barrier this time, once again from the defending lineup. It's going to be Singularity trying to push back MixyMix as much as possible. They do have that Discord orb from their side also out there, and they'll be pushing further and further to try and just take them down as long as possible. They have to exhaust the time bank that was pretty big just a while ago, and the lack of the mecha is going to be even worse for Diva than death, so she just suicides and Belief will try to respawn as quickly as possible to join the team. They do have the nano boost. Soon enough they will have Earth Shatter, but they're still pretty far away from Meteor Strike and the Graviton Surge. That was just such a crucial combo last time in Hollywood.
That was a very interesting kind of team fight coming out of Team Singularity, and the way they staggered their ultimates and the good timing. But like Mande coming from behind and eliminated by Leaf when he has actually been getting the better of it, so that's a really good time. Now Leaf is waiting for that perfect opportunity to jump up, and that is it. Is he able to get out the healer? Yes, Lind is taken out now, which is extremely important. And now he's trying to get rid of Craigie, so that he isn't able to put that DPS, and Craigie's had to step back, but Man's now back up there, and a good rewind to undo the damage, and Leaf jumps away. Is Man going to be able to take care of him? But not yet. This is the thing, is that they've got to be very careful, and no, there we go. So Craigie and Mandy are just doing so well at putting out that damage, and I feel like MixyMix are tunneling in a little bit too much on the payload and not watching the flanks.
And I think because of what they've gone for at the very beginning, Craigie going for the Soldier and Mande for McCree. Mande's not really been so successful, but Craigie's been working out with that Soldier, so he did not die so that they could swap again. Instead, they're sticking with each other's heroes. It is actually Craigie playing on the Mande Soldier and Mande playing on Craigie's Tracer, and they are the men to rule this team fight. It's also surprising, it's also a good skill to possess on your side.
Yeah, the ability to mix and match, I'm really surprised. You know, like Mande was so strong on the Soldier 76, but this is important. You know, we've got the nano boost on Leaf. Is he able to do anything? He's able to get rid of Lucio, which is important. Craigie pops a visor, and no, they're able to turn it around. They get rid of Leaf, they get rid of Ana, and now they're just doing so much damage. There goes Eagles, and that was a real big moment for the French team. MixyMix had an opportunity, but the positioning of Team Singularity is just so good that even when MixyMix are able to get someone like the Lucio, like Kellex, and eliminate him, which should be a key kill, they're not able to capitalize on it because the rest of the team can jump on it. No overtime, and a great defense. But also at the same time, MixyMix did manage to get it fairly far. I'm quite impressed by their performance there. That final bit is incredibly hard to crack, so it will be interesting to see how Team Singularity is able to respond, and whether MixyMix's defense team on this map is going to be different than the comp that they've been fielding throughout this whole online qualifier.
Yeah, however, with the amazing start that they had, breaking through the 2 points quite easily, with the time bank that they had rolling into the big ziggurat, usually you would end up right in front or taking the third point. So for Singularity, for a team of that class that they are, they would normally be able to push it right until the very end or right before it. Right underneath that bridge is not far enough, in my opinion, so still. Well, we've got MixyMix in a pretty unfavorable situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just have to wait and see how things go. But I'm really impressed by Singularity's ability to swap it up. Like the fact that Craigie and Mandy are just
Uh-huh.
able to swap heroes like that is huge because it just gives the team so much flexibility in their team comp. I think we saw it in Group B where there were one or two. There was, I can't remember who it was, but they could only one player on the team could play the champion, which meant that they were forced into using that one and sacrificing other team players and so on. So be interesting to see. Singularity, Kellex is on the Genji, but I doubt that. We have 15 seconds to go, so I'm sure he'll swap over. I wonder if Craigie will stay on the Doomfist.
Yeah, that would be something that I'd like to see very much because of how effective it was on the side of MixyMix. And I was saying before the first match of MixyMix versus Singularity that I would like to see Singularity not playing the Doomfist actually to see how they counter it. And as they counter it very easily, I would now like to see them execute this hero themselves. Now Leaf is in big trouble as he managed to bring down Mande real quickly, but he instantly got the Discord Orb and no abilities to get out of the fray. So it got erased. And we've got a Winston versus Winston a little bit further behind the lines, while on top of the payload, not much is being done to the attacking now Team Singularity.
Yep, and Mandy and Craigie, look at this duo just bullying MixyMix team up here on the top. It's only two of them, and it looks like four MixyMix players, and yet completely dominating. The rest of the team is there. There we go, 3 down currently, and they're able just to push the payload. And this is just great positioning coming out of Team Singularity. It's something I've been talking about the whole series, and we just see it time and time and again. Craigie and Mande in great positions to be able to put out the DPS, but also come back to the team and support it for the big team fights or moving the objective further. So they managed to hit the first checkpoint, and there's 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock.
Well, Leaf just trying to jump around, but actually has to use a little bit of his abilities to get out of the fray, which is starting to look a little bit dire for him, as usually he was that aggressive, unbreakable, unstoppable force. He just got in no matter what. The entirety of the team was focused on saving him. Right now, he's got to save himself. Now we've got the Transcendence right in the middle of the fight, but no kills really going down. Only Leaf getting down Linden. Mandy now with the tactical visor 1. And that's where the count actually stops. And Leaf is still alive. And as long as he is there, it is possible to turn it all around. Kellex actually, until the wall, he did not stop and managed to survive somehow, but got taken out right after. Leaf with a quadruple kill combined off this team fight, but it still is not a victorious team fight for his team. A little bit disappointing, but he's just giving his all, and even when they're losing, that Doofus is just still impressive.
Yeah, he's huge, and I think the rest of the team is doing really well as well, but it just shows how good Team Singularity is, that they can lose 4 players, and suddenly Nerf is up there. He cleans up the rest of MixyMix, and the payload keeps moving on. There's just this incredible focus on the objective and not losing focus and understanding when is the right time to group up and to pull back. And Team Singularity are just putting themselves in great position to capitalize on the mistakes of MixyMix. And here we have Leaf trying to get that opportunity, but doesn't look like we're going to get something. And Craigie, once again, look at that amazing flank. Puts out a lot of damage, and the ultimate coming out of Nerf to try and clear the way.
Yeah, Mande from behind. He was sticking very far away from the team fight just to survive, just to get his usual job done. But was caught onto by Leaf instantly as he jumped in. And Nezar also with the Primal Rage was hopping on towards the backline of the enemy team to scout out for as much info as possible. So MixyMix are not doing a bad job at all. But still, the payload's pushing further and further, just little by little, and it's already close to the second point. And when they get that second point, with still a little bit of a time bank going, if it's not an overtime, then I'm still staying with what I said at the very beginning, that Singularity will probably easily take that map anyway.
Yeah, I unfortunately I kind of think so too, but I'm excited to see. I just want to focus on this map, and I really want to see the French team do a little bit better and to win something, at least for their own confidence, because that can be huge. You know, I think their mental game has been great, and they haven't given up. It doesn't seem, even despite losing to Singularity, but it is hard to have that confidence in yourself when you keep losing. So it would be great to see them pull out a win and then give us a much closer third map. But look at this again, Belief and Eagles. I think MixyMix are a great team no matter what happens here. They've shown us that they have the ability. And look at Mande supporting Vivi's adventure, a competitive team. He's such a great sportsman.
Yeah, and well, the fight still continues. Mande's going to get the kill on the Leaf, and with Leaf shut down, if they can group up in time, they might be able to push the payload a little bit more. As Tico is still behind, he actually triggers the Transcendence. Transcendence is from both the sides. Maybe some more ultimates coming right up right after the Transcendence has run out. That's a self-destruct that doesn't hit anybody really. As Tico's going to survive a little bit longer, but Belief has gone down without throwing out the pulse from Nezzer. As Tico gone, Leaf also dies, and Leaf, even when everybody was down, he was still able to turn everything around. But since he dies among the main wave of the Mises on his team, it's not going to be a good ending of the team fight for MixyMix. So they already stack up on the third point. They know that the seconds lost. 2 minutes 45 seconds, and they only have to get it underneath the bridge. They have at least 3 attempts, and I'm quite positive that it's going to be 4.
Yep, you know, it's getting very close, and I think we're just watching some excellent Overwatch coming out of both teams. I think, you know, if you want to learn how to play Doomfist, it's definitely worth watching Leaf, and if you want to see how a great Soldier 76 can put out a lot of damage and be a thorn in the other team's side, you just gotta keep an eye on Mande. And here we have Doomfist ultimate coming down. Is it going to open things up?
Good start.
Takes out Kellex, and yeah, 3 down, 4 down now on the side of Singularity. MixyMix are really opening it up and creating a bit of an issue, and it's a great part of the map with the payload to create that kind of damage. 1 HP on Craigie. How lucky can you get?
Yeah, but then take a look at where the payload is. It's starting to roll back a tiny bit, but well, they're back already. It's just another assault, and they don't need to get it much further, but the payload is being contested. There's a sound barrier coming out. They still do have the self-destruct and the primal rage if we're talking about the attacking team, while on the defenders was only the Transcendence that was already used up. As now the sound barrier comes down, already broken down, and Danny getting the kill on Belief, who started off the previous fight. Belief, the other Leaf on that lineup, is still alive, and the Doomfist, a very important member of the lineup. He's going to get a little bit of a health back for himself too. He's charging up the rocket punch and gets it down, but doesn't get a single kill just yet. Self-destruct finally used up, but not too effective still. Calig's getting a kill on the other Lucio, so there's very much less healing on the other side. Leaf is so close to dying, but he's got his ability. His ultimate ability, actually, the Meteor Strike, but it only just knocks the enemies aside, not really getting any kills. The Sticker with 1 frag for 3 in exchange, and they're only losing the Mechan out in Nezzer. Believe, though, is respawned, is once again behind the enemy lineup, is once again just chipping the damage in as the Tracer appears, and this Tifa was extremely long with not taking that point, and that actually thins down the 4 attempts that I thought that they would have to 3 alone. And Nerf's still staying alive. He's got to be careful not to die, because if he does, he's just going to break the timer apart for his team completely, and it might go down to the overtime. Now the question is, who's going to be the victor after that overtime? Eagles loses the Mecha, also dies instantly after, and Leaf jumping in. I don't think it was the best idea. They lose a very important man of the team right from the start in here, and what a self-destruct, getting 2 kills. This could be it.
That was huge, actually, coming out of both teams. Leaf coming up huge, but Danny at the end coming with the clincher. Self-destruct that kills 2 people, finishes off Nezzer, and there we go. They managed to win it.
Not even an overtime. 6 seconds left in the time bank out there. Can you believe it?
That was, yeah, I can't believe it, but what a great series coming out there. You know, even though, once again, it's 2-0 in the favor of Team Singularity, I think MixyMix really played it so well. And yeah, fitting win for play of the game for Danny and Singularity. Look at this. This is the one. Allows him to win it. Not only does he get the 2 kills, he calls 3 kills, calls back his mech, takes out the Winston, and pushes the payload for the win, which was something, unfortunately, for the win wasn't able to do. But 16,000 hero damage, 25% of the team's damage from Mandate. That's huge. Like, just it's insane.
And you have to
I would
keep in
actually
mind,
say he's MVP of the whole series.
yeah, surely, but you have to keep in mind that it is not like blank damage, because of course the DPS out damages a tank. Just call back to the moments where Nerfed was delivering the play of the matches himself as that Winston. So it's not so easy to actually get 25% when you've got such a skilled team where everybody's doing so much. And yeah, so that's draws near to the ending.
I was saying at the end that if you want to learn to play Doomfist, watch Leaf. If you want to learn to play Soldier 76 or you want to improve it, you should be watching Manda. And if you want to see what a great tracer and an annoying tracer is, you should watch Craigie. But really, I think a lot of players, it'd be great to rewatch these games and kind of break them down. Maybe Overwatch School will help us do that. But there's some really exciting matches. I hope that the French team, MixyMix, are feeling good about themselves. They definitely challenged Singularity, and we saw some exciting performances. So they should feel very proud of themselves, in my opinion.
Yep, and by the way, we've got the RAZER Overwatch giveaway still going on our channel, and it's going to be given away on the day of the online finals. That is going to thin down the amount of teams showing up on the LAN to 2, which is happening on the 9th of August, so keep that in mind. Try to take part in the giveaway. Tomorrow's Group D, even more action right there, and we've actually got a team where Kib is going to be playing, the huge sushi killer player of Genji on KGSZL. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that. And on the other hand, we also have Isuba, Cyber Athlete, and Iceblock GG right there. So tomorrow is also an interesting day. You cannot miss that. And today was exciting, even though we only had 3 teams. Today, I have to say, was exciting. And we got to see some Doomfists. So I guess both of us are happy, aren't we, Nikita?
I'm super happy. I've enjoyed this so much. I thought a Group B was super exciting to cast and to watch, but Group C has kind of blown that one out of the water. So I'm excited to see what Group D has in store for us. It's been very quick, but it's been action-packed, and it's been great to see all the teams. Unfortunately, Team YP weren't able to make it, so that's a shame. Maybe they'll be able to make it the next one. I would like to give a shout-out to For The Win Esports. I think they should feel good about themselves. They definitely had their moments where they shined. Unfortunately, they weren't up to scratch and weren't able to beat MixyMix. Ultimately, les Français, j'espère que vous êtes fiers de vous. C'était très bien, c'était excitant de vous voir jouer contre Team Singularity, and congratulations to Team Singularity, the winners of Group C.
Yep, huge congrats, and that would be it for today. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody, and see you tomorrow at the same scheduled time, 5 p.m. That's when we're kicking off with the first match of the last group of the Overwatch Legend Series #1. You cannot miss that. For now, good night.